What's up, everybody? Large Bogart back with the smoothest vlog on all of YouTube. Been on a little bit of hiatus, been working quite a bit, so I decided I would jump back in here, do quite a few videos here in a row because there's several reviews I'm going to do on some albums. And the first one I'm going to do here is the new Slaughterhouse LP here. Welcome to Our House. Really interesting opinions on this. You know, when this first came out, I didn't get this the day it came out, and I started hearing some interesting stuff through the grapevine online, and some people liked it, some people absolutely hated it, and we're gonna get to right now. What did I think? Drumroll. Not that good. Not that good, and we'll get to why, and let's check it out right here. And we'll start from the first track to the end. I have the deluxe edition here, so it's like got 3 or 4 extra tracks on it or something like that. We'll just run through them all. First, I got the Slaughter, which is kind of like this opening, deal, and it doesn't really do much for anything. It's just kind of some random talking and noises, just an opening. Then the next track here is Our House featuring Eminem and Skylar Grey. I know they're trying to go for that appeal, that more of that commercial mainstream appeal, but Slaughterhouse, this group of MCs are not like this. They don't, it just doesn't work for them. And I know Dead in Hip Hop just did a review of them, and everything that they said is completely true. And at the end of this review, I'll get to, some interesting stuff and some other stuff that I'd like to throw in there, alongside a lot of the stuff that they said as well. But we're going to keep going here. Coffin featuring Busta Rhymes. Okay track here. I liked it. Wasn't my favorite, but it was still a pretty okay track, and I dug it for the most part. Next, Throw That featuring Eminem. It was alright. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was alright, I guess. Next, Hammer Dance. Hammer Dance might be my favorite track on this whole album. This was actually one of the singles from the album. So I was like, oh man, the single usually is not the best track on the album, but in this case, it quite possibly could be, in my opinion. Next, we got Get Up. Another okay track here. Nothing really that special, but it's okay. Next, we have My Life featuring CeeLo Green. I actually like this track too, as a commercial, track, and as a song I could hear on the radio, and a song I would actually listen to on the radio. I actually kind of dug this. Like, it wasn't that bad, and this was, this and Hammer Dance were the 2 singles that came off this. So from hearing those, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this. Compared to their last album, and the EP that they did some really good stuff, and I was expecting a lot better out of this album, but it is what it is. Next, We Did It. Another okay track here. Nothing really special. Nothing I can really say that I really enjoyed about it. Next, Flip a Bird. I kind of like that track. I know it's kind of like that, really stupid type of chorus, but I actually kind of liked it. It was okay. Next, we got Throw It Away featuring Swiss Beats. Man, this was horrendous. And the main thing that they said on Dead in Hip Hop, which I would agree with, is the choruses and the hooks and a lot of these tracks are just horrendous. They're not good at all, and I would completely agree with that. This was another one there. Rescue Me. Oh my God, horrible. It just doesn't work for Slaughterhouse. These guys are just MCs that go out there and just kill it. Just go out there and kill it, and it just wasn't working. Next, got Frat House. Okay track there. Yeah, not too bad. Goodbye. I like the verses on Goodbye. I thought that they did a great job lyrically on this, but the chorus again, not that great. Park It Sideways. Okay track there. Next, Die. Die wasn't bad. It kind of had more of a hard Slaughterhouse feel to it. Our Way. Okay. Asylum featuring Eminem. I see where they were trying to go with this track, but didn't really do too much for me. Walk of Shame. Just a lot of the mainstream kind of just sounding hooks on this really hurt this, in my opinion, and that's definitely a track right there that depicts that. The Other Side, another okay track. And then Place to Be featuring B.O.B. That track was okay. It was not great, but it was definitely an okay track. It didn't really hurt anything, I don't think. Overall, man, this is rough. This was a rough album. I don't want to say it was, really bad, like Nicki Minaj, or some of the stuff I've heard this year. But overall, the best couple of best tracks that are on here are tracks I've already heard. Hammer Dance is probably my favorite track on here. Um, Other than that, this was rough. This was rough. I'd probably give it maybe a 7 out of 10. There was good spots on it, but it just wasn't a potential live up to. Maybe even a 6.5, a 7, maybe somewhere in there. But it was definitely okay. It wasn't great. So what I'm gonna get to here at the end is a really interesting thing that kind of sparked my interest about this whole thing is I guess a couple weeks before this album dropped, Slaughterhouse dropped a mixtape called On the House, and it was a 13-track mixtape of basically the Slaughterhouse that a lot of fans remember, and it was great. It's a top 10 mixtape album of the year. Those 13 tracks are almost all those tracks are way better than everything that's on this album. Now I know they kept saying yes, the area that we are trying to get to, we want people to watch or listen. Listen is more of a mainstream sound. They've been on the grind on the underground. They want to get paid. They want to make their money. They want their dues, and I get that. I do. I really get that. But it's interesting because it's like they knew. It's like Crooked Eye and Bud and Royce and Joel were like, yo, listen, we know this is really mainstream and commercial. We're gonna drop this mixtape, before, and we're gonna give you all the shit that we trimmed, the fat we trimmed off this album, and we're gonna give you the hard shit. And the hard shit was on this house, and it's a free mixtape. Highly recommend downloading it. Go to DatPiff, you can find it there. Everything on that is fantastic. There's like ciphers. These guys just go straight off and just start rhyming off just out of nowhere. Great stuff. It's way better than this Slaughterhouse album. This is definitely a rough. As a fan who's a hip hop head and enjoys real hip hop, with those gritty lyrics and hard boom rap, boom bap type beats. This really did nothing for me. It was just okay, and the lyrics, for the most part, saved most of this. Production was just didn't work for me. Eminem's production doesn't work for everybody. It just, it may work for Eminem and he may pull it off well, but these guys, who knows? We'll see what the sales are on this album. If a lot of people really enjoy it and really like it, that's their forte. But overall, it was just not that great for me. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I am Large Bogart. This is the smoothest vlog on all of YouTube. Deuces.